Monica, hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Great, awesome. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, so you're out in California, but you're originally from Wisconsin?
Yes, I'm from
Right,
Wisconsin. I live there. I'm hiding from the polar vortex out here.
right. Gotcha. Good move. Yeah. So you've been in typology for a while?
Um, I've had I've had an interest in like personality since I mean, even as a kid, since before I even was aware that there was
Right.
like subject for it. Like in school,
Yes.
as a kid, you're like English, math, reading, and
Yeah,
like
I know
more.
exactly what you mean. We're going to talk exactly about that thing there. Yep. Yep,
Yeah,
for
and
sure.
more.
Because you've seemed to figure out a lot of things about personality and people and we'll
Yeah.
talk about exactly why that is because that was really interesting when you told me about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but
And
official
my
personality?
what's that?
Yeah. So, like officially on personality, we'll just get like a little background before we dive right into those.
Officially on like what my personality type is, you're
No,
wondering?
like
Or
when you started your personality
oh,
adventures,
yeah,
official, like, yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I took an MBT, like, well, when in college we had
Oh,
like all the freshmen had to take like kind of some like life kind of classes, right? And
wow.
so we all like had brought in like a Myers-Briggs person, and she did the MBTI test for us, and I was ENTJ,
Wow.
very solidly so. And I
That's
was like, that makes sense.
surprisingly accurate. Like, that's pretty
Yeah, it's not
close. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And it felt like, okay, yeah, this is me.
Right.
Uh, and I mean, ever since then, I've kind of like, I think I really didn't have a super strong interest at that time, but then like, yeah, eventually I would just kind of keep coming back to it. It would be like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I picked Please Understand Me at some point, and kind of dug into that. But then there was a lot of it that left me feeling like, oh, it's just it's too full of stereotypes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I actually really liked Enneagram, and I
Okay.
found that really helpful for a different kind of personal growth,
Right. Yeah.
more on like a spiritual side and motivations and things like that. But then, yeah, I was introduced to OP in March of last year, I think. So
Oh, yeah. Okay.
fairly early on, not in the Dave Superpowers, his old video. I never knew about any of that, his
Right.
old
Yeah.
video.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when Dave and Shan really got into the swing of objective personality, it was when I was like, oh, a friend told me about this. It's kind of like, I think this is like the missing piece that we've been
And is
looking
it?
for, especially the jumper thing.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. And was it like, do you find that it was a missing piece? It's like a critical piece of the puzzle?
Yeah, there
Yeah.
was, I mean, for me, like Enneagram was like a critical piece of the puzzle, and then objective personality has brought
Interesting.
another piece for me.
But like you're just naturally good at picking up personality without the theory, right?
I think, oh, that's a good question. I mean, I like the theory, and I grab onto all. I mean, this is, here we go,
Right.
like, right, but like grabbing all the theory and all the things, um oh, tell me more. Like, someone has a new personality theory, yeah, I'll hear about it. Like,
Right.
I just keep grabbing more. I think too, there's an element of like, I think people tend to keep being interested, and they're never satisfied in a typology anything until they find the thing that really hits home for them, and then they kind of settle down a little bit.
I see. Okay.
So, really in any form of typology, it's like, I'm looking for the answer, and then eventually they'll find one, hopefully maybe, that really resonates with them, and then they kind of like go, oh, okay. And I feel like I'm kind of there right now. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. Between Enneagram and OP, I'm like, this is good. There's a lot here for me to work on and to chew on.
Yeah, it's kind of funny that everyone's looking for someone else to tell them who they are, but
Yeah, I know.
yeah.
Especially like the EJs. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. So, okay, your first function is TE and your second one is NE?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Okay. And they're both masculine or
we are. Yes.
okay. So you have this masculine play savior. Okay, and are they both double activated or
Yeah. So I
oh
have
wow.
double activated extroverted masculine saviors.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
even that, like I knew there was gonna, I'm like, there's something that's gonna be like kind of weird about me, like something kind of extreme or something. And that was like, okay, that's the thing is
Right.
that I have this very strong push pull thing going on in my life. And
Right.
um
But
that's it's good and bad.
yeah,
Like anything.
but your sensory is feminine then.
Mhm. Yeah.
So you do have the feminine masculine balance in your energy, I guess.
Yes. So like
Yeah.
I am them.
Right.
Um, but the way that I meet the outer world is masculine, and that's where
Very
I
masculine.
would say where my more my confidence is.
Right. And do you see that? Do you see that it's masculine?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I was not really surprised to be FM. I actually, I mean, I wondered about double masculine even,
Right.
um, but I now I see why. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
So
exactly. Yeah. Awesome. Okay, I want to dive into this because this is going to be like an overarching topic for the whole thing. But like when I first met you, I thought like you had a very SF vibe to you,
hmm.
and you had a really amazing explanation for it, and I really liked that explanation. I was wondering, I'm like, is it peacocking? What's going on? So yeah, tell us about this SF vibe that you have when you're actually an NT.
I hope I can remember what the amazing explanation
Oh,
was.
okay. Well, sorry, I set you up too much. It wasn't that good. It was a bad explanation, but maybe you can make it better now that we're
Yeah, right. I'm sure. I'm sure I can.
yeah.
No, I mean, really, for what it is, I think it's interesting. I took Eric Thor's test, like everybody, like a bunch of people in the group did.
Wow.
You know,
Okay.
I got the hacker type, and I was like, oh, I resonate with this. Like this, that's what I feel like. I like the TeNe is for me, and OP. It's very like hacking. Like I will figure out anything I want to figure out. Because it's in the outer world
In the outer world, yeah.
and apply it to whatever I want to apply it to. And
Yeah.
so, and that, especially with it being masculine, I don't necessarily see masculine as being like so pushy as it is just like, like go get it, dominant. Like it will like kind of, even stubborn, I guess, just
Right.
like, okay, I'm gonna do this if
Do
I
it
want.
until you succeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but then, what gets tricky then is feminine FI. I'm like, what do I really want? And,
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
there's a little tangent there, but
Right.
uh, but yeah, so SF, it. You ask anybody that I went to elementary school with, they would have no problem being like, oh yeah, Monica's a nerd. Like,
Really? Okay.
oh yeah. But it was funny. I was a very, very confident nerd, and not just super nerd because it's the double. It's the NETE, not like no offense to the TINEs out there, but I think if you have some of that introvert, it makes you more like kind of that stereotypical nerdy type.
Right. Yeah.
So I was always very confident that I would be able. I would like, oh, I can figure out the pretty girl thing. I can figure. I know that, and that will come. And I was always confident of that.
Wow. Okay.
And sure enough, you get to high school and like, okay, like I'm going to figure this out. Figure out how to move in that SF world. And then too, like the community that I was part of at the time. And for most of the better part of my life, really valued, especially women in SF roles.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
so I was like, okay, well, in order to succeed and be the best in this community, or to do what I need to do to succeed be the best I can be, I need to learn SF. I need to learn how to speak
Right.
this language. I need to,
Crack the code. Hack it.
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's what I did, and learned that's it's funny. Dave and Shannon had a video, I think it's pretty recently, saying that when they coach people, they speak in the person's language.
Right.
Like, oh, if I'm coaching an SF person, then I'm speaking SF, and I was kind of like, this is like, wow, what a strange thing to even have to mention. Like, of course,
Of course. Yeah. Yeah.
like that's what you do. And so, EJs are very chameleon like, and so they will just kind of be what they need to be for the circumstance or for the people that they're around or for whatever.
Okay.
Uh, And I think specifically with, the TeNe, it's like, I will figure it out. And I have all these any resources available to me. Who was it? Kimberly, who used like the hanger.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Everyone keeps coming out. Yeah, they
Love
love that.
that. Like,
Yeah.
what? Yeah. Like, so, okay, well, I'll use this. If that doesn't work, I'll use this. And it's
Right.
just kind of tireless in that pursuit.
Right. Okay, so TE for you is like you like agreement, you like I don't know,
Um, I like effectiveness.
effect. Oh, okay. If it
Yeah.
works.
Yeah. It has to work.
Right.
In the outer world, specifically,
It
but
can't just
just
be theoretical. It has to be applicable.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that is what really for me with the TE was like, yeah, it's not so much everybody needs to agree. Like, okay, that's good. And it's
Yeah.
effective if everybody agrees.
Right. It works if everybody agrees. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Cool.
Right.
But so the focus is less on that everyone agrees, it's more on if it works. And
Yeah.
it just happens to work better when everyone agrees. But if they don't, who cares? It's got to work.
Yes.
Yeah?
And I think,
Okay.
well, say that again.
It's all right. We'll watch it again afterwards and we'll agree.
I think too, like it's like everything for me, everything serves that effectiveness. So the TE is like, I will employ saviors, demons, other function combinations, whatever, in order to make things work.
Okay.
So it's a very strong masculine double act, TE that is like, all right, okay, so we need to SI. Okay, we're gonna do SI. So SF is the thing. All right, we're doing that. And it's because it's all serving that purpose.
So
If that makes sense.
what you just explained, it sounds like you're willing to use yourself and sacrifice yourself completely for the purpose of what works, of making things work. Like
Yes.
you're using yourself as like a pawn to what works.
Yeah, like, and I will use all the tools available and everything I
Right.
can to, yes, like.
Wow, that's crazy. Okay.
Isn't it?
I don't know. It's what's it called? Like foreign to me, but that's cool. Yeah. Thank you. I want to know like who you are and how these functions apply. So it's good that you're being honest. Very awesome. Okay. So your NE, we talked a little bit about the hangers, but you see the outside world as patterns, like you see the world around you as patterns, not really as sensory.
Yeah, I mean, all the Myers-Briggs tests I've ever taken over the years and stuff, because you take it again and it's like, oh, and I at one point I really actually thought I was very introverted, like extremely introverted, which I know a lot of even very extroverted people will say that, yeah, they went into like an introverted phase or they thought they were
Right.
introverted for a while. And I think that for me, that was because it was like, okay, well, I think there's a stereotype that play looks like there's a sensory play.
Okay.
Like people don't really understand necessarily NF play or NT play.
Right.
They think of play as like going out and physically doing stuff, having all this like physical energy to go run errands and do things and like stuff like that. And I'm like, that's not me. But yeah, so I think I was doing that and being that for other people or being around people and doing the SF thing. And I just kept draining me. And I thought, wow, I must be really introverted because this is draining me so much. So I need to cut back more. And then I cut back more and I'm like, oh, I'm still drained. You're like, I just need to cut back more. So I just must be like a real introvert. And it's like, no, I'm not an SF introvert or extrovert.
Right. And you were pretending, not pretending, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm not like, oh, hey, party girl, women's clubs and all this stuff. And I'm just like, oh, gosh, I can't do this anymore. Like, I can't. So I thought I was introverted, but it's hilarious. Like, anybody, like, I'm not an introvert. But now I understand that SF world for me is very introverted and personal. And
yeah.
So anyway, I never ever tested anything sensory. I never tested, I'm technically an ESTJ jumper.
Right.
I never tested ESTJ. Sensory has always been like, kind of foreign to me. And then also, kind of fascinating because of that.
Right.
And that's, peacocking, like I want to figure it out thing.
Yeah, it's still your third function, I guess, but.
Yeah, I mean, and blast is my second animal, so that brings in the SI with the
Oh, okay.
TeNe.
Also, okay.
But still, I live in a very, yeah, very abstract world, and that's not, that's not my family.
Right.
That's so it's I've always kind of felt a little weird because of that, and I think that can keep me in my head. People think of like introverts or sleep people
Right.
as being, or consume as being really in their heads, and I'm like, I think it's for me. There's a lot of like the N is can keep me in my head, I
Right.
guess.
So, okay, when you're in your head, you're still focused on the outside world in your head? Yeah.
Yeah,
You're not focused on your identity or your
yeah. I mean,
okay.
I have I've done a lot of work on identity, and uh, Dave and Shan were like, you're doing all your functions, like
Yeah.
you figured this out, and I did a long time ago that I have identity issues.
Okay.
So I've done a lot of work on FI, especially,
Right.
um, but because it's like it was so obvious to me that this was what needed attention. So I will give attention to it, but yeah, it's not. It's like if I'm just spinning in a savior state kind of in my own head, then yeah, it's all, you can still do the extroverted functions without, and
Right.
it can still,
You're
you can still do
focused
that
you're focused on the objective world.
yeah.
Right. And so then like okay, so is sleep last?
Yeah.
So okay, so you will focus on your identity and your internal world like less than the objective world.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, that's like what
Okay.
comes later. It's like, and I had thought that, I think my understanding of sleep was, it's, I was consuming and thinking that it was sleep. I was blasting and thinking
Oh,
that it was sleep, like journaling. Oh, I'm sleeping. Look at me. Oh, like
right.
that was fast, because
Interesting.
when I read it later and process and whatever, no, but I keep having to learn the same life lessons about myself because I'm like, oh my gosh, I just realized this. And it's like, no, if I look back in my journal, I realized this like last year and 2 years before that. And,
Right.
because it doesn't stick.
That's
Um,
interesting. Okay.
yeah, I actually, the end of last year. So are you familiar with The Artist's Way?
No.
It's a book by Julia Cameron, and it's like a 12-week kind of program, and the point is like unleashing your, or I don't know, unburying whatever your creativity, um, and
Okay.
so just, like doing some really great inner work to find your creativity.
But your creativity is more focused outwards.
Yes, but like
Yes.
the idea that there's like so much, what I'm missing with art is, the really personal
Right.
expression and all of that. It's like, oh, what art do you want to make? I'll make it for you. Like, it's like,
Yeah.
no, the depth of that is what is hard for me.
I see.
Um, so, really in any kind of creative endeavor. So this program, that it's a book and it's 12 weeks, and I've done it a couple of times now. And what I kept from that program is 30 minutes of just like free writing every day. So I've done that for, not every day. I don't really do anything every day because,
Any.
because yes. So, but I do it often, and I've filled many notebooks now for years. And what I did this at the end of this last year is I read them from all of 2018. I read all of my writing, and
Wow.
that was like, I'm like, this is brilliant. Like, not because what I wrote was so brilliant, although there were really
No,
some really,
but
but just the
that was your
concept.
sleep. That was your sleep processing. You were processing yourself through it. Wow.
The things that I'm still trying to find answers for are here.
Right.
Already here, and I'm like, I can put it all together, and I can really like, oh my gosh, like that was just such a, like, wow, sleep. It's just like the
Wow.
answer.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
that was really good for me, because otherwise, I write a paper, I for school or whatever, I take a photo, and I just like, I don't want to look at it and process it, and no, I want to just kind of move on.
Right. Yeah, yeah. Interesting. So, okay, so your consume is your third animal. Is it like a hobby, learning and consuming?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It is
When you
definitely,
have free time for yourself, that's what you're doing?
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. In fact, I mean, it was a bit of a surprise to me to have it as a demon. But then it's sort of like, okay, right. So then I either have to have demon consume or demon blast, and I probably don't have demon blast. Um, so I mean, consume is definitely, yeah, like totally. It's a hobby thing, and um it's a fun thing for me, and it always was. What's interesting is I think for me, and I would love to hear from other people about this, like if I look back at like age 10, 11, 12, I can see my type so clearly then.
Really?
You know, I can see like masculine TE and all of its shoviness, and you know, like all of that was just very you know, before I had a lot of filters and, you know, kind of trying to
Right.
be like positioning and posturing, like that was a very raw version of my type then. But I could even see then that like, yeah, hobby consume totally. Like I was into speed reading, not because I was supposed to be, or you know, I just, ooh, this is a fun thing, you know? I
Right.
don't know.
Awesome.
Um,
So, okay, so you said you don't really respect the sensory as much, but you're still like your work, like today at least, has to do with the sensory a lot?
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually it's funny because a lot of the work I've chosen as an adult has to do with sensory. I've been a wedding planner and a graphic designer, and now I'm an image consultant. And so it's like, okay, why am I choosing all the
Right.
sensory? I think for me, there's an element of, there's a lot of, I mean, I can sit here and give you reasons for it all day long.
Yeah.
Uh, I think for me, there's an element of feeling like, oh, that's like, oh, that's what's okay. And that's kind of comes from like this, um, you know, way of thinking I used to have, that like, it's not okay to be a woman and a masculine TE and, you know, kind of like be shovey like that. That's not
Right.
a woman's place.
Right.
Um, and so I really for a long time shamed my savior functions, and kind of put them. I used to describe like, oh, I know the woman I would have become if I had stayed on that course at age 12, and I just like she's like I put her in a cage and locked her up. Um,
Yeah.
and I'm still. I mean, actually, some of the advice Dave and Shan gave to me was like, go be you. Like,
Yeah.
go do your saviors. Like, don't hold back.
Wow.
Um,
That's interesting. That's really interesting because they're usually giving like the opposite advice that like you need to tone down your saviors but
yeah.
yeah, I guess you did that at a young age. So now,
Yeah. And I think, and I just was, you know, yeah, shaming a lot of that for a long
right.
time. I'm still learning how to get back into that groove. And I think when you're living in a space for so long where you can't do your saviors, or you don't feel like you can, I mean, can't is
Right.
the strong word, but you don't feel like you're supported in that, or
Right.
whatever, then I think that can lead to, yeah, like depression. And I mean, I dealt
Yes.
with a lot of things like that, where then you just like, oh, wow, I really am introverted, and I had thyroid issues and like all this stuff. And I think, gosh, I think a lot of that was because I didn't feel free to just be myself and go do the, you know, masculine TE, masculine NE thing.
Right.
And so, yeah, so I picked up this sensory world, which also was a challenge for me too, which is kind of, you know,
Which is
um,
cool. Yeah. Play
yeah. So
challenge. Yeah.
this out. But I've realized, you know, this is really leaving me feeling kind of empty and kind of like I'm like a little, no offense to anybody in this world at all, but like a little brain dead. Like my brain
Right.
is not
Because it wasn't
engaged,
you. Yeah.
to engage. Yeah. Um, so I think too, you know, it's just, yeah, it's been a challenge. It's been good, and it's served me, you know, and I've kind of like learned how to hack this whole thing. But
Right.
uh, yeah, I'm feeling ready to move on. But again, like it's like, this is another thing Julia Cameron says in The Artist's Way, is like she'll find that people will do a dance around the thing they really want because they're afraid if they go after the thing they really want, then and they fail, then what, right? So you'll
Wow.
see actors who will like, oh, I'm gonna, you know, be a stagehand, or I'm gonna work in props, or I'm gonna, you know, and it's like because they don't go for the jugular because they're afraid. And
Mhm.
I feel that in some ways with my saviors. It's like, oh, if I really like go out there with my saviors, then what? Like, what if I fail?
I see.
You know?
Do you have that fear of failure? Like, do you
Totally.
take, yeah,
Yes.
you take failure hard?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Um,
Okay.
but I mean, over the years, yeah, you do learn and grow and mature and say like, well, okay, I mean, failure is it's learning, and that's,
Yes. Yeah.
that's valuable. But yeah, it's hard to fail. Like I've, and even, yeah, it's I totally,
Right.
even perceived failure, like I was a wedding planner for like 3 years, and I made a big splash in the industry and everybody's all excited, and a long, long story. But um, I realized at some point, and it was at this luxury wedding business summit I was in Grand Cayman, and I was there on a scholarship as some like rising star in the industry, like,
Wow.
and I was like, well, shoot, because I don't want to do this. Like, this is not me.
Wow.
This is not me. And I had like a really great FI moment walking.
Yeah, that was just gonna say, yeah, that's like a real identity moment there. That's cool.
It really
Yeah.
was. And it was great, but it really knocked me down for years.
Right. But it's not
And I
that you failed,
felt
it's that you realized
right, but I felt like I failed and I felt like, oh, I'm just flighty and I didn't know what I
that's
wanted. And
crazy.
I was really young at the time, too
Right.
early. And I was like, people were like, oh, like, kind of hesitant about me because of my age, and I felt self-conscious about that, and I was like, oh, like I failed. I didn't know what I wanted, and I totally am all these things I'm afraid I am, which is that I'm flighty and that I don't know who I am, and all these
Right.
things.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's all true. So yeah, that knocked me down for a long time, because I'm like, well, how many big splashes can a person make? Like,
Right. Well, I'm
and
sure you have a ton more, so don't worry about that.
well, I feel like I could, but I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
will the child tolerate that? Like, okay, here's Monica, she's doing this thing now. Oh, that didn't really work. Like, I have
I'm,
it
I-
in.
I'm I'm sure the tribe can tolerate it. I'm sure, for sure. Yeah, yeah. So I actually see it completely the opposite. It was not a failure at all. That was like a huge success for yourself to like have that moment.
It's taken a lot of like processing and self-talk, and for me to see that as, yeah,
Right,
like
a
a huge,
success. Yeah,
yeah. But I just, again, EJ, it's perception, and like there were all
yeah.
these rumors, but like, well, what really happened? Like,
Oh,
because she was
really?
great, like, yeah, and because just me coming out and saying, what, this is not what I want, was
Wow.
really hard.
Yeah, yeah. As like the rising star, and they put money in, they flew you. Wow. Yeah, that's
Like,
ballsy.
I don't want, like, yeah, and I closed my whole business. I had like a brick and mortar studio. I mean, I finished my wedding contracts that I had, but
Yeah, yeah.
um,
Obviously, yeah.
yeah, but I was just like, I don't want this. And I think people also couldn't believe that I didn't want it, because they were like, well, what do you mean? Like, you love this?
Yeah.
And of course it's believable that I loved it, because I just go all in on whatever I'm doing. And so
Right.
I think people were just confused, like, well, I thought you loved this. Yeah. So, you
Wow.
know,
Yeah, that's a huge pivotal moment. That's crazy. Yeah.
yeah. And that was like, 10 almost 10 years ago now.
Wow.
Um,
Oh, so okay,
definitely.
so are you aware of your FI then? Like you were aware of it then? Yeah. You always been aware of it? You think?
Um, Always no.
No.
But I think, for me, especially getting into like a community that really valued things that were different than who I was, that seemed to go against, like, okay, well, you're this way, and like, you really should be this way.
Right.
And so I'm like, oh, okay. And then, okay, I'll be that, I'll do
Right.
whatever.
Yeah, it's the feminine FI. You're willing to sacrifice your identity for the sake of the tribe.
Yes.
Yes.
But then I more and more, I'm like, but it's not what I care about, or this doesn't really make sense to me, or this isn't really what I want, and
Right.
I would hear that little voice, like,
Right.
and I just kind of keep ignoring it. Just like, okay, well, just be quiet. And, we just, so I was aware of it. Yes. And aware that that was work that needed to be done. But I think just for me, it was like, okay, well, I started to realize that, gosh, if I really get into my I'm going to upset the tribe.
Right.
And that's, that's the big struggle of the EJ, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's wow. That's a challenge. That's a challenge. Good for you
Yeah.
though. That's really good. Okay. And you were,
Yeah. I'm still working on it. It's like,
yeah, it's a
I
life's
can't,
work for sure.
yeah. Like
Yeah.
if I'm me, I'm going to make people mad. I'm going to offend people. I'm going to, cause
Right.
as a kid, like I was just like, oh yeah, going with my saviors. And I'm like, I don't really, like, I don't want to be that. I don't want to be like this Mack truck of like, you know,
Uh-huh.
powerful whatever, like shoving things down people's throats. Like I can be that.
Right.
But I also like, that doesn't work, first of all. So it doesn't really serve the purpose. It's not really effective.
Right.
Um, so anyway, yeah, it's a life, it's a journey.
Awesome. Okay. And so you have some things to promote. You have a website. You have a funny little YouTube channel that you do with a friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so my image consulting site is uncommoncolor.com.
Okay. So
Um,
we'll put that in the description.
yeah, and you can. So I do, it's color analysis. So finding the colors that harmonize with a person's skin and coloring. And then image also. So, the styles of things that you wear and all of that. And for me, it's funny because SF is like,
Right.
it has to make sense still. It can't be just like random clothes you like. It's like, no, no, no.
It has to be
Why?
systematic.
Yes, like this has
Yes.
to make, like, there has to be reasons why these colors work or why this style works.
Wow.
So that, yeah, for me, it's all like very, I really admire the people who can just like pull looks together and it's just kind of like,
Because it feels right.
yeah, like, and
Yeah.
they just have really good intuition about it. And then I do have some intuition about it, but then I have to really lock it down with reasons.
Reasons. Right. Right.
So anyway, that's that. I am actually, like, we had talked about another time. I'm launching monicagill.com soon, because I really want to get into more like life coaching and working on the inner work as well as the outer. So not, transformations being just not on the outside, but also,
Right.
working with inner transformation.
Right. Yeah. So no one is as skilled at inner transformation as someone who's had to fight for it and work for it. So that's really cool that you're doing that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Best of
Yeah.
luck. Best of success. Yeah. Okay. So let's say bye to the tribe somehow. Do you have a,
I love how you always say that. I
yeah.
know. Bye. I'm like, you have to start your videos with saying like, "Hi guys,
Right.
this is my channel. Like, here I have Monica."
Right.
Like, and
Okay.
outro. Come on. You got to work on this, buddy.
All right. Okay. I'll next video just for you. I will give a good intro. But now we got to work on the outro.
Outro. Yeah. I mean, I really, for me, I think if I could leave anybody with anything about OP or personality in general, it would be that it doesn't matter what you're typed as. It doesn't matter if like your type is perfectly correct or whatever. Do the things that are hard for you. Like,
Right.
work on like, what's hard. Like, I can have FE problems. I don't have FE, but I can have FE problems. So then like go work on TI stuff. Like, you're having like SE chaos in your life and whatever, like maybe look at like, how can you build up NI or whatever? You know what I mean?
Right.
I think it doesn't necessarily, like, it's, what I've learned is it doesn't really matter like exactly what your type is. There's so much information there and so many helps. Like, maybe my animal stack isn't quite this. It's like, it doesn't matter. There's so much help there and so many
Right.
things, so many things to work on and ways to get better and improve your life.
Right.
So
Awesome. Thank you very much, Monica. It was really awesome talking to you, for sure.
thank you. Thanks for having me.
Have a good one. Bye.